Welcome back to another episode of Wichita Vice.
All right.
Yes. What's going on, guys? It's Captain Chris with a K.
Your boy, Big Don.
And your friendly neighborhood comic book guy, Mr. Brett.
This is your rated R comic book razzle-dazzle affordable philanthropist, Cape-on superstar nerd Carlos. Welcome to Wichita Vice.
Whoa.
I finally got it, you guys. We got it in finally. We're going to talk about Jessica Jones. So follow us on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, and other platforms. So before we dive in, let's go ahead and take a quick pause and thank our following sponsors.
Hey guys, why don't you check out She Barber Cuts Barbershop and give Markeisha Brown, the licensed professional barber there, a call at 316-218-3566 for all your haircut needs. She's got cuts for kids, adults, and for those looking for the good one, the deluxe with beard trims, wash, and hot towels. So don't forget to give Markeisha a call at She Barber Cuts and see her at 2319 North Ridge, Barber Suite 6A here in Wichita, Kansas.
Okay, first up, we have the villains here. We're going to talk about Loan Shark. And I don't mean your local payday cash place. We're talking about Loan Shark. Loan Shark was created by Michael Fleischer and Jack Sparling. He appeared in Ghost Rider Volume 2, Issue 65 in November of 1981. His powers, he's got a power suit that gives him durability and strength and high interest loans. No, I'm kidding. That's a great punchline. Let's talk a little bit about Loan Shark. Chris, what do you know about him?
He's kind of basic level, low. I don't want to say basic, low level, street level, run of the mill bad guy. Kind of got lucked into a power suit, but and I know like in the MCU, like they make him a really good businessman and stuff like that, and so I'm sure he sees himself as that. But it seems like he's not really ever making a good business deal. He's just there for one of the bigger characters to beat up on eventually.
He's like a contract agent. He goes out in the comic books. He was hired on by mobsters, anybody that would pay him for hire, and he would just have
that low level.
Yeah, just low level. I mean, he's not messing with no Avengers.
Merc work.
Yeah.
He's got his own 1099 thing going on.
Yeah, I see him kind of more as a low level. What was it, Kingpin? Kind of like a Timu Kingpin. I don't know if that's the right thing to say, but
A Timu Kingpin.
Because it's like who's this guy? Let me stop.
Yeah, please stop, Brett. You're killing us. Look, here's the deal, too. Also, when he made his appearance in MCU, especially Jessica Jones series, I mean, he was giving Jessica Jones and Luke Cage a run for the, but it's because he has that special suit.
Oh, yeah.
He got it from Jaws.
A little power.
But, John, do you know anything about Loan Shark?
Well, see, I've watched the show, but it's been a while. That lets you know how low level to me he is, because he's somebody that didn't even put much of a beat on my radar as somebody that played a major role as a villain. You know, somebody.
Right. So he owes us a favor. We're putting him on the limelight.
That's
like,
hey,
we're showing you some love here, Loan Shark.
Yeah, but I wonder, he ever get that suit dry clean?
How you get that cleaned up?
We don't know.
You know there's some stank in there.
Yeah.
So that concludes Loan Shark. So, hey, we did our part. But let's talk about someone that does give a little bit of run for the money, and that is the Purple Man, a.k.a. Zebediah Kilgrave. He was created by Stan Lee and Joe Orlando. He appeared in Daredevil issue 4 back in August of 1964. His powers are mind control when he uses his pheromones, and it's not his cologne. So, Chris, let's talk about Purple Man.
Yeah, really a very ominous character. You know, he's not the big, burly, you see him scared. And I thought he was paid really well by Tennant in the Jessica Jones series, because almost just with that creepiness, it's just like a creepiness to him, with just being able to brainwash, because you basically lose full control unless you're basically a super psionic abilities like the Jean Greys and those folks of the world, to be able to protect yourself from that kind of deal. And he can pretty much just control complete. It's not like a hypnosis. It's like full brainwashing control. We'll talk more about what he does to Jessica Jones, which is horrific to an extent. But he's able to do this to just about anybody. He has troubles with Daredevil because of Daredevil's blindness, because it is kind of a sensory manipulation. And he does have a little bit of a regeneration. But really just that sense, like how I feel like that's a big fear that's not often explored, is the loss of control, just self-control, which is what he entails, like it fully embodies.
Yeah, the Purple Man, saw him, read about him, and my goodness, he's a scary dude. Like you saying, Chris, the things he does to Jessica Jones is just. You really want to fight this guy. You're so mad at him, but he's calculating, very manipulative, in a way, and that's all I got.
Yeah. Yeah, from what I watched, I never read much about him much in the comics, but when I did watch the series, though, he, they did some of a background to what he had done to Jessica before, and she finally broke free of him. It's just like, if he could just look at you, and it seems that he can take control of you. And I know after I read up on some of his abilities, and his pheromones can control you even by sound, but it's just that it seemed more like they focused on the more visual. If he looked at you and you looked in his eyes, you were done. And then, I've watched him do some terrible things to people where they like, after they completed the task, go take care of yourself, or simply tell them just stop breathing. I'm like, it was like, how do you?
Diabolical.
It was crazy. And then after Jessica was able to break free from his control, she was doing her best to just try to defeat him within certain range, because, there were times that he took control of Luke, and then he about, killed Jessica because of his strength, until he was able to finally break free after she knocked him on the head real good. So it's like, the dude is a beast.
Yeah, and so in the comic book, and we're talking about the original, not Prince. This is the original Purple Man. He's got the purple rain, not Prince. Just throwing it out there. Because his backstory is he was a Croatian spy, and he got into some chemicals, splashed on him, and then here you go. He became the Purple Man. And then diving into his powers, we know that he found out that he was able to control people using his pheromones. And so he would hold people hostage against their will, because technically they had no will. Mm-hmm. They just followed what he did. And the sad part of this is, now, before we dive in more of the character, we're just going to throw it out there, since we're a family-friendly podcast here. I highly suggest that if you want to dive into Jessica Jones' character, this is more of a mature aspect of their characters. Just, for the young people out there, just make sure follow your parents, whatever. Go get permission. Don't say, well, Wichita Vice said we could check it out. No, hold on. Just be mindful. The show's on the Disney Channel, especially with the Marvel MCU merging with the Defenders and then Jessica Jones. But just understand that this character is he's very evil. He did some things that nobody should go through. And so just be mindful of that. So Zebediah Kilgrave, at the end, he makes his way around, especially in the New York area in Hell's Kitchen. So he's already stirring up. And the number one person, it's Daredevil. And like what Don said, the problem is with Daredevil, he can't get him figured out. And so he uses Jessica Jones to try to go kill this guy, kill Daredevil, because he's just been a pain in the neck. And what happens is that she messes with the wrong person. She ends up fighting Scarlet Witch. And so that didn't go too well, because Vision beat the brakes off of her. And if it weren't for Jean Grey. Jean Grey helped her break that spell. And this is the comic book, not the TV series. We're talking about the comic book. But I'm telling you there, Purple Man, he's up there. If you are able to break away from his controlling power, Daredevil, he probably had the formula to do it, but going toe to toe with him, if he's got you figured out, like what Don said with Luke Cage and all that, you're in trouble. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways people have. Usually the way they try to fight against him is either like with Daredevil, because it's a sensory manipulation with the pheromones. It doesn't work quite as well with Daredevil because of his blindness. But then also like Moon Knight, a couple other guys, they'll fight him with earplugs in. They usually will gag him before giving him to. So even though his pheromones go off, he can't give people commands if he can't talk, because he does have to speak and tell people what to do.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he's just not a good guy. Like he brainwashes before he really gets started. Brainwashes a lady to become his wife and has kids. And I mean, she didn't choose that. That was all just like his pheromones.
Mm-hmm.
Purple Man.
Well, at least Purple Woman was a good guy, good girl.
Purple Girl.
Yeah, she was awesome. All right, well, great. I mean, the show was great.
Mm-hmm.
He was portrayed. I wish he would have turned purple. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah. That was a
the
little
joke.
different of a.
But I mean, oh well, it is what it is.
I felt like it made it look scary because he was such a normal looking guy in that shit. Like he wasn't purple or overly big. You know, he was just a normal kind of looking dude, and I think that kind of made it even more creepy that way.
So in the show, Don, how was he defeated?
In the show, I do believe as they were fighting him, she found a way to get the upper hand and I guess knock him into some debris, and then it fell on him and killed him.
Okay, cool. All right, well, that wraps up our villains. Before we dive into the superheroes, let's go ahead and take a quick pause and thank our following sponsors.
Well, I don't know about you folks, but here at Sports Fellas, things can get, well, a nice right funk going on sometimes. And in that time of need, we turn to our friend Kimberly Sampson, our own personal Cincy independent consultant. She is our favorite star consultant, so for your scent needs, get a hold of Kimberly at heavenlyscentswithkim@gmail.com or visit her website, heavenlyscentswithkim.cincy.us. You can also call her at 316-282-7363. That's Kimberly Sampson at Cincy, our favorite independent consultant.
All right, now we're going to talk about some good guys here. Oh, yeah, because we were talking about some pretty bad villains there. Next up, we have Hellcat, Patsy Walker. Hellcat was created by Steve Englehart and George Perez. She appeared in the Avengers issue 144 back in February of 1976. She has superhuman strength, agility, speed, endurance, and reflexes. And to extend a little bit more of her powers, she has sonic powers. She's a skilled martial artist and gymnast. And also, she has retractable claws and grappling hooks. And her claws are pretty extendable, as I said. Okay, Chris, let's talk about Patsy Walker, Hellcat.
Yeah, and I really hope that I think that I've heard rumors that there might be more Jessica Jones in the MCU, because I think she's in the next season of Daredevil. But I hope that we get to see more of Patsy, and I hope they expand that character more so to be a little bit more closer to this version. But yeah, she early on it was the mid 70s, and they were probably trying to get girls more involved, so that like it was released as like a teen romantic character, like series of characters, so kind of a middle or high school age, and they're dealing more like with kids stuff back then. Not quite as dark as what we see portrayed in in the MCU with Hellcat.
Yeah, from what I've seen, I've never read it, and she's another character I've not read about in the comic books, but as I watch the show Jessica Jones, she started getting jealous, as you watch into the seasons, she started getting more jealous of Jessica, and she wanted, powers of her own. So I do believe there was a chemical they were experimenting in the show, and she came across, and then she started taking it and then working on it. And then as she did that, then, she started getting her abilities and stuff and kept trying to, put herself in trouble. And there were a few times she needed Jessica to, to help her out, get her out of a tight spot. But then, that's how she pretty much portrayed it, and then she got her show back and talking about stuff.
And that's great, Don, and we'll keep elaborating more on the show there. So, yes, noted. Okay, so let's dive back into the comic book. In the comic book, what we know is that before she had her powers, when she was Patsy Walker, her mom and her aunt kind of used her. They used her
in the
to
show,
make their own
like
sitcoms and comic books, and That is
like the bad child movie star kind of where they're forced to do it, and
And then later on, I mean, because we won't dive into too much of that character because we want to stay focused more on the Hellcat side. So let's just bring in there. So pretty much how we know where she comes to be is that she runs across a suit. She idolized Reed Richards with the Fantastic Four. So she went to his wedding. You know, of course, I don't know if she participated in the wedding, but she was in the wedding. She saw him get married, and she always wanted to be a hero. Well, her husband, you know, he was in the army, I believe. He was in the military. He went to Southeast Asia. I would assume he was in Vietnam. Got injured out there. Came back. You know, she got married to him against her parents' wishes. And so what was going on is that, rewinding the clock a little bit, Patsy Walker always had to deal with being controlled. And she didn't like that because mom and her aunt were like her agents, you know, her managers, and telling them what to do. And so she went against their wishes, got married to her high school crush that she had, and that didn't work out too well. So what happened was we'll talk a little bit about more in him in a little bit. So she did was, since she idolized and wanted to be a superhero, guess who she runs across? Who was it, Chris?
McCoy, the Beast, or yeah. Well, her husband wound up being like an assistant to him, and so yeah. So she winds up. Well, the husband, as you were saying, it doesn't really work out well. He becomes more and more departed or away, and she starts to befriend McCoy, and so she starts just kind of. Cool. Well, I'm going to start running some missions with you guys then, if that's cool. Like, and then kind of takes off with her career after that. At that point.
Well, see, here's a deal that I loved about this. The Beast did a hookup. I mean, can you imagine doing a hookup like, hey, I do this for you? Because what happened was he got attacked by a what's that villain? He got attacked by a villain. Just check it out, you guys.
Who the is that guy? Who the is that?
And what happened was Patsy helped him out. So then she found out his identity because, of course, he's Hank McCoy. And so then what happened was she goes, hey, I'll keep your secret. You keep my secret. He goes, all right, what do you want? I want to be a superhero. Can you get me an application? And so, of course.
It's not what you know, it's who you know.
Hey, we're talking about the Beast. The Beast's like, all right, fine, I'll go hook you up. So then, you know, he did her a solid by going talking to Iron Man, talking to the people at the Avengers Tower and say, hey, I got this person that got no powers, but she wants to be in. So they put a spot for her. You know what I'm saying? That's awesome. Not in human resources or anything or housekeeping. They put her out on the field.
Yeah.
And so.
On the job training, man.
Well.
Hop to it.
But talking about a hookup, what happens later on is that someone is keen on her, and that's Moondragon. She is the daughter of Drax the Destroyer. Says, hey, you know what? You've got skills, you got abilities. I got my eye on you. So she takes her, trains her, and brings her back. And so then when she finds the suit, she dons the Hellcat.
Well, and it's just like her powers just, and it kind of happens throughout comic books, and she's been around longer than like a Jessica Jones, but just continue. That's why I said, like, I hope for the MCU side that they bring in some of these like actual superhero powers that aren't medicated or, you know, like drug induced as they have to be. But she actually gets some of these psionic and uses. She also has some pretty cool gadgets that go with that. I don't know. I guess the fingernails aren't really gadgets. That's, I guess, is superpower with the. I can get some nails did fast. Like, I don't know, but she can turn into really claws really quick, which is kind of cool. But
she'll do a jet sweep after shoplifting at the store in Hell's Kitchen.
Wow.
But, you know, eventually to show off her rebel side, she winds up marrying like the son of Satan. So she takes it to the next level.
Okay.
Like Hellcat, we're going full blast.
And then the whole Thunderbolts get involved, and that's just too much of a fiasco. But bring it back here a little bit. Let's bring it back a little bit. What I want to say is that, yes, I'm glad that the Marvel MCU introduced her in the Jessica Jones series. It's just that in the comic books, there's no correlation. So for her to be in the Avengers, I think it's a little too far fetched. I would like her more like maybe helping out the Defenders.
Yeah,
or helping
she's
out in
street
Hell's
level.
Kitchen.
Yep.
Yeah. Hey, can you take care of Lone Shark? Because he's kind of getting out of line. Okay, say Hellcat.
She's got her own things to deal with, like you said. Like she's had a rough. She was managed and pushed a lot of different ways, and she does have a series of failed relationships with various superheroes, the Son of Satan, and then
I wonder how that went.
Hellstrom, I guess his name, and then Mad Dog. So yeah, she's a complicated young lady. I could see her like Defenders level. Daredevil, he's complicated. They're all struggling with some inner issues.
But I'm glad what Don said when he brought that up. The Defenders, of course, the more the merrier, and especially if you brought in Hellcat.
Big city.
But you know who I would like them to bring on a side note? Moon Knight. Because he is a Marvel Knight.
I'd like to see him come back, but I don't know. The TV show didn't go well, and
I know.
Oscar Isaac is expensive.
Well, who knows?
Him
And
playing
also-
I thought it was pretty good, but
He does
that's another
represent two
topic.
Marvel characters. He did play Apocalypse, so
Yeah.
in another universe, I guess.
Yeah, totally forgot about that one.
No, we'll leave that alone. Oscar Isaac needs to stick. I like the Moon Knight. That's unfortunate.
I enjoyed the show. I wish they would have been sticking
Well,
with it.
so do you think there will be a second season?
No, of Moon Knight, no.
Okay, well, we'll see.
I hope there's a second season of Wonder Man at this point.
Well, don't forget. I mean, hey, we did that show Wonder Man, and we also did Moon Knight, so it's in our old shows there. So check it out. Well, you guys, we're moving on to the main event. The main event is brought to you by Supplement Giants. Visit them at our local locations in Wichita and Derby. And if you don't have a location near you, they do have an online site for all your nutritional and clothing gear. So thank you, Supplement Giants. Shout out to my friends out there. So we have Jessica Jones, created by Brian Michael Bendis, Kelly Thompson, and Michael Gaidos. If I said your name wrong, I'm sorry. She appeared in Jessica Jones issue 1 in 2001 under the name Alias. Alias, right? Alias?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. So her powers, superhuman strength and flight. She can fly in supersonic speeds, but in the shows she don't fly, I don't believe.
Mm-hmm.
No.
So, Chris, talk to me about Jessica Jones.
Well, I really got not kicked off with her because of the show. Kristen Ritter performs admirably, but interestingly enough, her origin, she is there when Peter Parker gets bit by a spider. So that's kind of interesting. And she goes to the same school, has to deal with some of the similar bullying from Flash Thompson after she does get her superpowers through a very disturbing event as well. Like, oh, happiest day of our lives, Walt Disney as a reward for doing well, and crash, boom, family gone.
Wow.
Like sad to start. Doesn't get. I guess it goes a little bit better. She becomes a superhero. Not in a big way. And then, man, I'm gonna stop here. But she meets the guy we've already talked about, as we know is a horrible guy. But meets Purple Man, and things get really even. You think that they were dark when she lost her family, and it just gets to a whole new level of darkness after that.
But yeah, I like from the Jessica Jones I learned from. I watched the show, but then I done some research on her. And, she had the ability to fly and has psionic abilities, but unfortunately, on the show they shouldn't have none of that. But
Yeah,
I guess how she got around, and she did. And I guess she did leap buildings at times, or just drop down and just land there, and just almost leave a crater on the concrete. But she just walked around, just you touch her, you're gonna regret it.
in some tight pants.
Yeah. But see, in the show though, she walked around just nothing but a jeans, t-shirt, and like a leather jacket, and that's all really she needed
Tight
in the show.
jeans.
Because you touch her, you regretted it. She solved cases,
Quickly.
and because of
Except
her
for Luke.
childhood, yeah, She was a bit of a drunk because she had a rough childhood.
And really, really rough. She was in a dark place after that Kilgrave incident.
Mm-hmm.
But look at it like this. Okay, so again, let's rewind a little bit with Jessica Jones. So she was before she was Jones. You know, saying let's talk about her character. And Brett, I'm going to go ahead and leave that one to Brett.
Okay.
Remember, Jessica Jones was before 2001.
Jessica Campbell.
Mm-hmm.
And she went to Midtown High School with Peter Parker and them. And is it me or just Flash Thompson just?
I did.
Well,
he's a jerk. He's a bully. He is the a-hole.
Complete a-hole. But family show.
He's a butthole.
Yeah. Hey, family show, man. But
he's mean.
Yeah. You just want to just slug him and just punch him in the face. I mean, anywho, has his big crush on Peter Parker. Tries to build up the courage to talk to Peter Parker, and she kind of just can't talk to her. Ends up, like I said, score, like her father scores some tickets to Disney World from the man himself, Tony Stark. Car crash, in a coma, gets adopted by the Jones family, and so from that. While she was in her coma, they re-enroll her new parents, the Jones family, re-enroll her in Midtown. After that, Peter Parker becomes Spider-Man. He's got all his spider powers, and I think she gets inspired to be a superhero by actually watching Spider-Man. I forgot who it was that he was taking on.
Sandman.
Oh, the Sandman. That's right, the Sandman.
But when Peter tries to talk to her, she's like, "Ew."
Yeah, she pretty much goes like.
She was confused.
Yeah, after Flash,
because remember he picked on her, called her coma girl because she was in a coma.
Flash did, and then she just thought Peter was being mean too, but he was trying to be nice.
Yeah, because he was trying to, he's
Peter Parker.
Because he's Peter Parker. Peter Parker is a very nice.
So his game is tight like that.
That's what she said.
Because now Jessica Jones came out of nowhere, but all right. So fast forward. Mm-hmm. So what was going on is that once she finds out that she has these powers, of course, it's time to go out there because she had aspirations to being a superhero, and so when she's doing her thing, and guess who comes around?
Well, and this is where a little bit there's with the TV show, that's how they mash. That's the time period they mash Patsy Walker and Jessica together. They actually somehow she winds up then being kind of adopted by Patsy's mom and kind of involved in watching that whole situation gets in, and eventually winds up sticking up for Patsy and helps her break free. But having witnessed all that manipulation, then she gets brainwashed by Kilgrave, and things go really dark. He's psychologically torturing for months, makes her do things completely against her will. They don't get into specifics, but you've got to assume that some of those were of a physical violence natures. He was making her commit crimes for him. In the show, they even show him just be like, kill that, whimsically having her kill people when she was supposed to be, she wanted to be a hero. She wanted to save people, and she can still see all this stuff happening. She just can't stop it. And so it just adds to the torture and the darkness, and she can't get away. There's nothing she can get away. Finally, in the comic books, Carol Danvers saves her and brings her out, gets her to Jean Grey, who helps to break all the brainwashing and gives her a little bit of a protective mental barrier. I can't remember in the show how she got away. Something happened that she got away. She got far enough away from her that the brainwashing, and then she's basically just running, like trying to make sure she stays away from him.
Yeah, it's like the further she was away from him, the less effect that his pheromones had.
But I'm pretty sure in the show she just she's able to do something like mentally
build an immunity on
her. She because she had been around it for so long, and her regenerative nature, which she's not like Wolverine regenerative, but she is a rapid healer, and Yeah, it was because she becomes immune to it because of the exposure and just kind of willpower too. I think like
Well, it's
is able to break through, like her body's able to create the anti-immunity to it.
Some way to put it.
But look at it like this too. I mean, she did find love, and her companionship. She found good friendships in Iron Fist and Luke Cage.
Once she got beyond the
and so her and Luke Cage got together.
It was more of a happily ever after.
Right, and look what happened afterwards. They got married. They had a daughter, and so when I watched the Civil War, because the collection, the Civil War, they were part of it as well. Jessica Jones and her daughter, they moved to Canada, and they're cheering on for the Canadian hockey team, which I don't understand why. And so Luke Cage comes back and he teams up with Captain America, and so against that, that superhero registration.
Yeah, the Accords.
And so look at it like this of Jessica Jones. Jessica Jones, great Marvel Knight character. She went through quite a bit. And also, she becomes a hero. And I love the way now we can talk about how she's portrayed by Chris Ritter. That's her role. That's her role.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like Hemsworth as Thor, like just perfect fit.
It was just perfect. And then now that we're going to get to see her again in season 2 of the Daredevil of Born Again.
I really hope it opens the door for her series to come back, because you can bring Luke Cage back with that. You can put him and them together again.
Well, there's a rumor that this is the platform for now because Doomsday is already lined up, but you got Secret Wars as well.
Yeah.
Now, I would love it that they can bring more in, and if they don't bring them in that aspect, but bring them on to other projects as well.
Yeah, it's hopefully things are going in the right direction. It's been looking pretty good so far.
Yeah, she don't disappoint me. I love the show. I'm looking, Daredevil. I like Daredevil, so it's not going to be a disappointment. I'm looking forward to it. So
they could keep that Daredevil going,
Yeah,
going. I mean, it's just so well done, so well done.
And as always, you guys, as I've always said before, if you want to tune into more of the extent of the characters, not just us, follow as well Variant Comics. Follow as well your local comic book stores, because those guys are knowledgeable. Shout out to all our local comic book store owners and staff. But that wraps up Jessica Jones. Let's go ahead and take a quick pause and thank our following sponsors.
With spring here and all the storms on their way, you need to make sure you have the proper home, auto, and all your properties insured. We here at Razor Cut Information just can't get enough of our favorite insurance man, Ernie Ruelas. Please visit Ernie and his State Farm agency at 11330 East Central Avenue, Suite 400, Wichita, Kansas, 316-682-2300. Thank you so much, Ernie.
All right, so any final shout-outs before we go, Chris?
Just a big shout-out to all the comic book fans out there. Let's keep it rolling.
Hey, also shout out, I'm glad you're here listening, and we'll hope to keep you entertained and tuned into the next show.
Shout out to all our fans, comic book stores. Shout out to all you comic book shops, local and domestic and international. And as always, hi, Mom and Dad.
I want to give a special shout out to Supplement Giants. Shout out to my friend Jason. Thank you so much. We will be doing a Silver Cosmo movie reviews that he is sponsoring. We are going to do the Dark Knight trilogy. So we're going to talk a little bit about Batman Begins, Dark Knight, and The Dark Knight Rises. He swears that The Dark Knight Rises is the best one, but I know we might defer here, but we'll figure it out. We'll talk about it. So thank you so much for sponsoring in. Also, I want to give a shout out to Prairie Dogs. Thank you to our friends out there that always help out for all your comic book needs. And also, shout out to All Star Comics in Oklahoma City. Staff was great there. So if you're in the area, show some love out there. Thank you to Eric, Powell, and then Dolby Designs. Thank you so much for what you're doing as well. And then also to you guys, thank you so much. Stay tuned on the new shows that are coming in, and also whose character we're going to cover next. And then hopefully pretty soon we will, as we get closer to the Avengers, we're going to do something big for Avengers Doomsday. So, I mean, I'm talking about T-shirts, movies. We're going to do something big because Dr. Doom's one of my favorite villains. So stay tuned on that. And also, we are bringing back the Cutting Crew. And also, we are going to still talk about Sports Fellas for March Madness. So stay tuned to that. And also, we're We need to get Anime Insomniac back. Come on, we got to figure that out. We got to figure it out. Okay, until then, we're out.